Somebody should begin.
Swamiji, first chapter, first shloka.
First chapter, first shloka. First chapter, first shloka.
Mamaka Pandavachaiva. Me and mine. Attachment to the limited circle. And mine is dominating.
Yes.
How to? It is only possible to overcome chanting of Nam Nam as Papa given the solutions. God thought, godly thought always.
If chanting was is enough, the chanting as we do now is enough, then we should know the result, whether we have been able to get over the me and mine. Think about it.
We are feeling sometimes, Swamiji, but remember it is there, Swami. It is not, always is not possible, but overcome me and mine. Remembrance is there.
To overcome,
awareness.
The supremacy of me and mine is not possible always, because we are unable to remember him. No?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So chanting should be chanting is a must. Chanting should be accompanied with something else, because we have got preoccupations with the family, profession, or retired life, and the society. We are not exclusively striving for God remembrance. When we look up to Papa's life, though adversities one after another were tormenting him, God somehow made him to prioritize God remembrance, and in spite of so many challenges, so many hurdles at every stage, he was able to hold on to that exclusive remembrance of God. In our case, we intellectually know that this is the answer, and we are also chanting, but this chanting doesn't seem to help us to move forward. So then, Papa himself says, outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. Because none of us will be able to chant throughout our waking time. So during our involvement in various activities, how do we keep up the remembrance? That is the challenge. So now when we go through Gita, he also confirms that we have to put ourselves on the refinery and start purifying. The purifying process should take place. The present day chanting has not helped us so far. Though, as you said, it has helped us sometimes. It gives us joy at the time of chanting. But after the chanting, we are almost back to square one. By and large, there may be a few exceptions. So that means during the non-chanting time, what I do matters much rather than the present day chanting. So every time before we react to events and individuals, there should be a constant effort on our part to bring in the God dimension. If the God dimension does not take place, we view it from, we evaluate from, we react from the individual level, me and mind level. So in the first shloka, Dhritarashtra is coming from that level. My children and Pandu's children. Had he been impartial and free from attachment, he would not have used the word Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. He would have said, Pandavas and Kauravas are arrayed, what is happening there? I would like to know. Then we infer, we keep on thinking about that particular word. That means the power is within him. He is the emperor. Duryodhana is only a prince. Considering Duryodhana's adamant nature, he could have said, okay, at least you give them 5 villages, bas, so that we can avert the war. But he did not say anything to Duryodhana. And when Duryodhana decided not to give anything, and when there was no other go for Pandavas except to wage a war with them, it was arranged. So everything stems from that me and mine. That is how we take it when we started the Bhagavad Gita. That is the one Papa prompts us because from In Quest of God, in-depth study, Papa taught us in the 2nd chapter itself that what is blocking us is the me and mine. 2nd chapter. So he prays, kindly remove the I-ness in me. So that was the background when, that is why Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. Immediately we remember my children, that attachment. So for that, as you said, so as the other day we were reading, we are not thinking that the Kurukshetra had happened 5,000 years ago near Delhi. We feel Kurukshetra is in our own mind or in our own fields of activities. The indwelling reality, the power behind everything is the Lord Krishna. Me, as a sense of individuality, is the Arjuna. The down-pulling tendencies are represented by the Kaurava forces. The elevating principles are symbolically represented by Pandavas. Every day the war is going on. So the sense of individuality should seek guidance and blessings and grace from the indwelling reality. That means constant remembrance is necessary for enabling us to peacefully conduct our life. So it zeroes to what? Along with chanting, whatever we have to, even while chanting, which are the areas where we have to refine. So we try now to bring in this dimension as much as possible during our time for our chanting. Though not in one go, suppose we are chanting for 15 minutes or half an hour, there will be still breaks from one chanting to another. Somebody will be leading and we get a pause. We will be hearing. At that time we can include all these dimensions. Whatever way we want to plead with him, the dialogue with him. So that, what for? So that when the moment we bring in that dialogue, our whole attitude toward the events and individuals change. Previously, we were viewing it only from the individual level. My likes, my dislikes, my rights, my wrongs, my priorities, my preferences, my desires, my ambition, my craving, my moha. All these things, overpower me. But suppose when I bring in God dimension, the face gets changed. So during the 17-18 chapters, the Lord is trying to bring this dimension. The second chapter itself, he says, you say, you and I and all those who are now, we were all born, we continue to die, we continue to be born again. So everything is going on. You get stuck from here. But when you raise yourself to a higher level, you will know that this has been going on. And why do we get stuck with one particular relationship? Then he starts explaining about the transient nature of the body, which is the tent of experience, which is the residence of the sense of individuality. So, as you said, the first sloka gives us this, points out. The hurdle all of us are facing is the me and mine. Our fixed notions, yes. Our concepts. So in other words, can we say that the moment we hear this, we should close our eyes and try to feel that he is there, he is there, he is there. I have forgotten, that is why I have labeled as this. All this labeling takes place because I am unaware of the source. I am unaware of the source of others. If I start digging, if I start plumbing deep within to find out my source and the source of the world, then this dominance of me and mine will become definitely reduced to a very great extent. And that could be one of the methods for bringing God dimension. Not merely floating on the surface. We have heard it many a time, but we have not applied our mind probably, we have not done the needed manana. So in the first chapter, first shloka, when this is pointed out, and when the doubt comes, we know it. At times we are in a position to implement it, but we are not in a position to hold on to it. That is the problem we are all facing. Everyone is facing that. Not that we do not know, we know it. But still when something happens, we forget that. That means it has not become steadied, sthiramati. It has not become steadied in mind. So we must devise some method to get it stabilized. What do we do for that?
You pray for Papa Swamiji.
Prayer alone will not help. Holding everything to my hand, suppose I pray, do you think it will help? I must undergo disciplines. Along with that, prayer. I must undergo disciplines. In the first chapter of In Quest of God, he gives us what all self-denial he subjected himself. How he was able to subdue the dominance by remembering him. He was not allowing the comfort zones to disturb him. Think about it. So this in-depth study of Bhagavad Gita is now, as it looks like, it is a continuation to our IQG in-depth study. How am I to get over this me and mine? How am I to start living in remembrance of him? Initially, as much time as possible, and later on, fully. And 18 chapters throw before us various techniques. And these techniques, not only they are explaining about inward journey, contemplation or manana. When we are active in the world outside, what should be our attitude towards objects, towards persons, towards situations, towards emotions, towards thoughts? More than 70 to 80 values have been brought out. Why am I behaving like this? I am unable to control myself. So gunas have been highlighted. I am a slave to the gunas. Do I have a freedom? Yes, you have a freedom. You are your own friend, you are your own enemy. In one shloka he will say. That means the sense of individuality has also been given a limited freedom. And again, to make it more clear, he brings out how to make our, suppose when I say that I should bring God dimension, how do I become the dearest devotee of God? To get an entry into his charalam. Then he elaborately explains about 24 values. So unless and until we try to put them into practice, and to put them into practice, constant chanting, so chanting and implementation. Because we are all very much in the field. We are not sitting in a cave. If we are sitting in a cave, we can understand, only manna. But we are all working people. And the field is so vast before us. So just as Arjuna was bringing out various justifications for taking a stand not to fight, our mind will also bring out so many justifications as to why we take to a particular line of action. Every time we have to refer to him only. That is the clear-cut message. And to attentively hear him, that means going deep within. At the same time, we have to ensure that it doesn't slip into only a knowledge level. It should be translated into vijnana level, applied knowledge. Yes. What next? Second chapter 49 and 50. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanivicha kripana balahetavaha buddhi yukto jahadiha ubhe suvrta dushkrite tasmat udyoga yujyasya yoga karma sukhausharam कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता ही फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणा जन्मबन्ध विनिर्मुक्ता पदं गच्छन्त्यनामय. So in these three shlokas, it has been beautifully brought out. He says, work with desire is very inferior to that performed with the mind established in Buddhi Yoga. Work without desire, with desire. So seek refuge in this Buddhi, evenness of mind. Wretched are they who act for selfish results. So how to train my mind, body, mind, intellect. Because we are all working people, either at home or in the field of profession or in the society. So Sri Krishna advises how to bring in this God dimension. These few verses in the heart of the second chapter of the Gita are masterly, conveying a profound philosophy of life for all humanity, and particularly verse number 49. Dhurena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Arjuna, work done with a selfish motive is far inferior to work done from the buddhi yoga point of view. Buddhau sharanam anvicha. Take refuge in buddhi. Develop buddhi in yourself. Kripana balahetavaha. Those who run after fruits, they are very small-minded. Kanjus. They are all small-minded. Now this verse was quoted in the United Nations a few years ago. In quoting this verse, he said, if people can follow in their life this teaching, the world will be a better place to live in. Buddhi is a great word in Vedanta, coming again and again in the Gita. Actually, it is the faculty of reason, judgment, discrimination. It represents the integration of the intellect, emotion and will. It controls, ought to control all the psychic and sensory processes in a human being. This cerebral system is the organic instrument of that buddhi. The cerebral system is the latest development of the brain in human beings. That is meant to control and regulate the entire human organism other than the organism's automatic functions. By understanding this, trying to practice this a little, anybody can develop this buddhi within oneself as an instrument of achieving the goal of evolution at the human stage. It is manufactured out of a psycho-physical energy system within everybody. We only purify that energy, refine it, then it becomes buddhi. Refining psychic energy. All high character is based upon the refining of psychic energies. Raw psychic energy gives you crude character. This is a very important subject. We have refineries in India now. We take crude oil and refine that oil, and out of that refinery we get beautiful petroleum products. Even fine scents you get out of it. Refining is essential so far as crude oil is concerned. Similarly, nature has given to man a wonderful refinery of experience within this human system. Take crude experience, refine it, then send out beautiful products of character. Love of compassion, peace, efficiency of work, dedication, out of the crude energy that you get in yourself. This is a subject which every youth must think about and work out. How to refine my experience. That means how to raise myself from the me and mine level. We hear all these things. But we have to do individually by something, by which this gets stabilized. Otherwise, again, we will forget. Refining. This is a subject which every youth must think about and work out in life. How to refine today in the concept of practice of education all over the world, there is very little of this refining of experience. The crudity that has come to our life is appalling. Crudity in ordinary human relations, crudity in politics, crudity in everywhere. Education is there but not refinement. Psychic energy is there but not refining. That crudity is a sign that we have not used our body-mind complex as a refinery of experience. All these ideas pertain to the teaching of that Sri Krishna is giving us. Where there is no buddhi, we live and work from a lower level of life. Where there is no buddhi, we live and work from a lower level of life. Then we become a balahetaha, motivated by fruits for oneself. There is no place for you or we at all in our thinking then. Compared to that, all thought and action proceeding from the level of buddhi will seek the welfare of others along with that of oneself. What can I do for you? That attitude will be there. That is called buddhi yoga or yoga buddhi. The only source of high character energy. That buddhi in you is nearest to the Atman or Brahman, the one divine self in all. Adi Shankaracharya calls it as Nedistham Brahma, nearest to Brahman. Buddhi has only to turn back. The Atman is there, the infinite one. So when we study the Kathopanishad, we come across a beautiful chariot imagery. Human life is a journey to fulfillment. There are two types of journey. External journey, for which the body is the chariot, sense organs are the horses, mind is the reins, buddhi is the charioteer. Within the chariot is the self, the master of the chariot. In the context of that very journey, there is also an inward journey. That inward journey is what makes for character, makes for high spiritual character attainments. This beautiful chariot imagery is given in the third chapter of the Kathopanishad. In the chariot imagery, the driver of the chariot is buddhi. It directs the whole movement of the sense organs or horses of the chariot. All energy of movement is the horses, and the horses need to be controlled by the reins. Reins must be held by somebody, and that somebody is buddhi. And the rein stands for manas, the psychic system. So buddhi is the controller and director of the whole journey. It sets the place for the journey and not the horses. It can see a far ahead, what they call in English a far sight and a foresight. The sensory system has no far sight and foresight. Psychic system has a little far sight, better than the sensory system. But when you come to buddhi, you get high foresight and far sight, durdrashti. That is called wisdom. Buddhi is a unique instrument for directing human life and for achieving human destiny. So here Sri Krishna is telling, Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha. Take refuge in buddhi. Do not allow your journey to be redirected by the chariot or the horses or the reins. Similarly, in the human system, let not the body decide your life's purpose. Let not the sensory system decide it, not even the psyche, but let the buddhi decide the course of our life's journey. The mind is stingy, that is the meaning of kripana. Here it means you are petty, small, nothing big will come out of you. So verse 49 conveys a beautiful idea of work and life, of every human being. No distinction of caste, race, nation, sect or creed. Just a human being. Just a human being. How shall they live and work? That is being answered much more definitely by the next verse, where yoga is defined by Sri Krishna in a more concrete and comprehensive form. It's a very important verse, the very heart of the yoga teaching, the finest and the shortest definition of yoga. The whole of Vedanta can be described by one phrase coined by Julian Huxley. He wants modern science to develop into a science of human possibilities, from what it is now, namely a science of physical nature's possibility. Why should I remain weak and helpless all the time? Parallel development must take place in the body, mind, and spiritual fields of life. These ideas are conveyed through these verses in the second chapter. And the whole thing is set in the context of a person at work, not at prayer, not at meditation, not at the mystical absorption. The majority of the people are working people. As a working person, how can I utilize that work situation to expand my mind and heart and to manifest the tremendous possibilities lying within? This is real education for a human being. So in the next verse, we have the keynote of statement of the Gita teaching, given in the briefest possible language. In fact, the whole philosophy of the Gita itself expressed by the briefest definition of yoga in 50, which says, Buddhi yukto jahadiha ubhe sugrada dushkrite tasmad yogaya vijjasya yoga karmasu kaushalam. Endued with the evenness of my buddhi, one frees oneself in this very life, alike from virtue and vice. Devote yourself, therefore, to this yoga. Yoga is efficiency in action. So, Buddhi Yoga, that means not merely reacting based upon the impulses then and there. We convert the mind to become our psycho-physical energy we put it in the refinery, that means manana, and then every aspect is considered, and then what comes out of us will be efficiency, care and concern, peace. Now you take. We are, all of us are dead earnest in realizing His presence always. This is the goal we have set before us. But if we have to attain that goal, whatever equipment He has given to us, it should be directed towards that, is it not? And now what is happening? The sense organs are taking us for a ride to sense objects. And even when the mind starts working, it only starts in terms of what is my gain. How will I get benefited? How will I be able to translate or transform my ideal of a peaceful life for myself, a prosperous life for myself? No. We are making use of the buddhi, but it is directed towards my own. So here in this 50th chapter, he brings out a wonderful methodology. Yoga is nothing but efficiency in action. Whatever action we do, suppose we make it excellent. If you closely observe yourself, when you are dead earnest in making it as perfect as possible, the me and mine will not be there. You and I are doing it. But as soon as the efficiency is recognized, immediately that fellow takes the credit. Whereas he was not there at that time. Suppose you are singing, you are giving a music concert. You can check up with any artist. They merge themselves in that. Suppose you are a lawyer, I go for some consultation. The moment I place my problem, he is referring to similar cases, applying his mind totally. How it has come, what was the case, what was the judgment. Prior to this digital, when you go to lawyers, you will find that in the shelf there will be so many ILRs, There are books containing all the judgments, Supreme Court judgments, important, Indian Law Journal, it's called ILJ. In the everything will be there, and this vakil, Uma knows, the vakil, they will by their practice, they will be able to immediately remember something about it, and then they will take and go through, put a flap there. So when we go to a doctor, when he examines you completely, then if the sense of individuality is there, he will not be able to diagnose you properly. And when he is in the operation theatre, the entire meticulous attention, you just start observing in our own profession. Somebody's profession we may not be able to understand. Suppose you are drafting a letter any project, any book. Then we will find this truth, simple truth, that whenever the me and mind steps out, then only the efficiency can come. But when the moment somebody recognizes it's beautiful, immediately I jump in and take the credit. Now, for example, Papa has written in 30 or 35 books. Papa's teachings are there in 30, 35 books. Suppose we want to relate some topic with any of his quotations, and suppose it comes by his grace, and suppose when you do that, and I immediately say, how is it possible for you to connect up from all these things? Immediately you should know, if Papa had not written, and if it has not been printed, and if I have not been prompted to go and sit or go through that, I will not be able to remember. The basic thing is Papa's teachings. The first thing, so that will come to our mind. So similarly, at that particular moment, there is an inner alignment that is the one which stores in the memory. Where I and mine is absent. This we have to think, we cannot get it from anybody, only by going through one's own. When we are preparing chapati, just imagine, or preparing dosha or idli, suppose our mind goes elsewhere, what will happen? Suppose you are making sambar, you are making something, for that particular few seconds, concentrated attention. So wherever there is efficiency in action, there, the first thing we have to learn, it is so subtle, we are unable to learn that. The me and mind steps out at least during that period. And whatever gain I am likely to get immediately, that is lost when somebody recognizes, and immediately I take credit. If I am level-headed, I will never take credit, because I know that the dough, the wheat is not cultivated by me. It is the Mother Nature that who gives after a lot of cultural operations, and when it comes, the harvesting should take place, threshing should take place, and wheat grain is removed, and then it is put in the grinding, and then from there you get atta, and then you prepare a dough. There should be the proportion of the water and the water, salt and the wheat powder should be perfect, otherwise it will become kolola. You will not be able to make chapati. But later on, it so happened that when we do it with 100% concentration, automatically the body is trained in it. Without even doing it, will know how much salt we have to put, how much water we have to put. So right from what we are doing it, if we start observing it, we know that wherever there is Shraddha, where is total attentiveness, focused, there the me and mind steps out. So when we chant Ram Nam, He made us to come in contact with Him. He gave us this mantra, and He facilitated everything internally and externally to chant. And He told us that it stands for God Absolute. And then we chant. Have we been able to do that? We have to ask. Connect yourself with this philosophy and technique of yoga. Get your whole mind and heart established in it. Yoga is efficiency or dexterity in action. You are working. It can become not only a means for your worldly welfare but also a school of your own inner development. That is the unique feature of Gita teaching. In no other literature in India or abroad you find this definition of spirituality. Spirituality is defined here as efficiency in work. What kind of definition? It's a combination of productive efficiency without spiritual efficiency within. Everything must be efficient. Sri Krishna stresses this concept of productive efficiency. There you can see efficiency in various departments of modern life. Gita introduces a second and higher dimension of efficiency which is greatly needed today in our civilization. When you work, has that work done any good to your mind? Has it made you better, purer, broader? Has it made you realize your own true nature? If that is done, efficiency gets a second dimension. In normal language, we say productive efficiency is the first type of efficiency. Good workers, strong, efficient farmers, industrial workers, administrators, professional people, everyone must be efficient to discharge one's responsibility to the society. That is one aspect of efficiency. The second aspect is highly neglected. Sri Krishna stresses it throughout the Gita. See what has happened to you after years of productive efficiency. Have you grown spiritually? Have you realized something of the divine spark that is within you? Have you gone beyond the body-mind intellect common pulls and pressures and become calm and steady within yourself? All these are profound questions that some people are asking. What has happened to the human being? He or she has been a good worker, but he or she has become a broken person after years of productive efficiency. Work has done no good to the worker except his or her salary and whatever creature comforts could come out of that salary. What about the inner life of the worker? It applies not only outside, even in ashram seva. We are working. We call it seva, We add that word, Deepa seva. Seva is a brilliant word. Before we paste that label, we should know whether it represents or symbolizes purity of mind. God has given this wonderful opportunity to remember Him through a particular line of action. And it should be done as perfectly as possible, because this is an offering to Him. So don't think that this is only applicable to people outside. It applies to all of us who feel we are doing some seva here. I would say bluntly, we are involved in some activities. Of course, not activities which are aimed against anybody, but whether it is directing us towards Him or not, only that particular person will know. Then only he can change the label from activity to seva. we find that assertion is there. We are choosy, we are not flexible. So Krishna defines the yoga thought as double efficiency. Productive work efficiency, inward personal character efficiency. These must go side by side. Don't separate these two. By the same work, if one can achieve two great things, how much greater? The second emphasis is highly needed today all over the world because we find man has become smaller and smaller and smaller, more subject to tension, sorrow, unfulfillment, even suicidal tendencies. All these things are there in the most efficient technological civilization. Man has become a creature of the environment, Jandu. Because we neglected the second dimension to the concept of efficiency. Gita gently advises all working people to take care of this. As you work, you bring blessings to society by your honest, efficient, cooperative labor in whatever fields you are working. See also that your inner life becomes qualitatively richer, full of joy, full of peace, full of love and concern for humanity. Wow. That is the spiritual growth. Full of joy, full of peace, full of love, concern for humanity. Qualitative enrichment of human life. Elaborately, Swami Jagannath Maharaj talks about this. Efficiency in action. So, because that is spirituality, you know. Are those who work efficiently peaceful? Can they live at peace with each other? Serve each other? These are all important questions. We shall succeed to abolish war, violence and crime from society by this qualitative enrichment of human life. There is no other way except this. But we in India have been neglecting the work side of our life. We have to develop that side very much today. When we become good workers producing goods and services, we shall solve the problem of mass poverty in India. All the 800 million people, when Swamiji was talking, it was 880 crores. Now it is 140 crores. Of course, we have reached spectacular progress, no doubt about it. Spectacular progress. God made many of the planners, many of the executors, many of the people who are doing it to bring out efficiency in work. The society is today very much benefited. Even though we are 140 crores of people. Today we were remembering at the time of our meals, somebody was talking about food production. In 65 wartime, we were in acute shortage of food. At that time, we were hardly 60 or 70 crores of people. Today, with 140 crores of people, you might be knowing this, that all the BPL, that is below the poverty level cardholders, will get 40 kgs of rice a month freely. And to the other categories, they will get 8 kilos a week at rupees 2. Unimaginable, because We were there in 65 when Lal Bahadur Shastri gave us the call to the entire people of India to forego 1 meal a week. Before every ration shop there was a big queue. Today the population has gone up like anything. Below poverty line people are less, but even then all of them get 40 kgs of rice free. And the other people, 2 rupees is nothing, So we can say they also get it freely. 2 rupees for a kilo. The cost of production is now more than 40-50 rupees for 1 kg of rice in India. So just imagine. So the mass poverty has been solved. So there is some efficiency at somewhere, So this concept so he wants us. So now he is making us to think. You look at the picture of India. What was it and what is it now? But in the process, we still feel. Why are we not feeling that we have reached that stage? There is something blocking, Though we have progressed in some other fields, there is something blocking us not to become happy about it, because there is some aberration. Some is meant by this, yoga karma sukhaushalam. Outer productive efficiency is reached, no doubt. But the inner character efficiency, which he highlights, that is why we still feel, in spite of spectacular progress in many, many, many fields, whether it's in the form of education or medical or any line you choose, spectacular. But still nobody is feeling fullness. Something is failing. So we have concentrated on productive efficiency, no doubt. But probably unknowingly, unwittingly, we have not given much importance to the second dimension, which is called character efficiency. Same thing is reflected when we take up spiritual practices also. It doesn't become comprehensive, Yoga Karma Sukhaushalam is a unique type of definition of man's spiritual life, not opposed to worldly life, but comprehending both of them. Yoga of the Gita comprehends both dimensions of human life, outer life, inner life. Outer life of work, inner life of inward development. Gita does not make a gulf between one's secular life and religious life. That gulf has been bridged by Krishna ages ago. So this definition will appeal to every thinking mind, to every rational mind, to agnostics, even to atheists who are afraid of the word religion. There is no religion in all this, by way of dogma and ritual in the normal sense of the term. It is a comprehensive philosophy of life. Philosophy and spirituality of life that one gets from the yoga of the Gita. It is meant for every human being. Let us say, be yogis. Sri Krishna is whispering to everybody, be a yogi. Means outer productive efficiency as well as inner character efficiency. Immediately many of us may become to to be a yogi we must be a special kind, some magic, some miracle, this and that must be. No. I don't mean any of that, Sri Krishna says. I mean the most normal life, but with a depth added to it. What a universal philosophy. You are living, you are working, you are dealing with others, and in all this, you are also shaping your mind and heart, trying to manifest the divine spark that is within you. Beautiful. No other explanation is necessary. You are living, you are working, you are dealing with others, and in all this, you are also shaping your mind and heart, trying to manifest the divine spark that is within you. In this way, a parallel development takes place. Externally, social welfare and development. Inwardly, spiritual growth and fulfillment. Good that this particular shloka was remembered, because we are trying to understand more and more. No? It all started with how to get rid of this me and mine. Me and mine can be got rid of only when we apply our mind solely on any project. And then a little more analysis will reveal that our outer productive efficiency must be followed by or coupled with inner character efficiency. We are part of the whole. None of us can live a life of exclusivity of myself. So from me to we. So all the activities that we do, when we work in the office, when we bring out a particular project or whatever the boss says, you do this, when we do that, if we limit to the wage earners concept, me and mine, we will not be able to achieve the second dimension. In front of others, they may congratulate us for the work done. We have applied it whole soul and it has come. But immediately when it is recognized, the me and mine comes and takes over it, hardly giving the space for first God and how He facilitated us to achieve this. So the second character efficiency comes only when we try to bring this, Buddhi Yoga. In anything that we do, suppose we apply this, He gave us the prompting, He is facilitating us, He provided the wherewithal or the raw material, He provided the technique through some of His creation, and then He gave me a chance to do it. And I did it. And the credit goes to Him. If I don't accept the credit, it has become the second dimension. That is why they say, bhalecha, bhalecha. Fruits, we are not aiming at the fruits of our action. Immediately the me and mine comes. Good food for thought for the first day of our interaction. The rest of the things we will try to dwell upon tomorrow. Very nice. Because this is addressed to our workaday life. Wherever we are, whatever we are doing. Let us keep on dwelling it and try to implement it, try to translate this into our every moment's activities of our life. This is our prayer. Please put me on that line. You make me to do so many things. These two dimensions should be there. Outward productive efficiency which will be beneficial for all. And inward character efficiency where I feel 100% gratitude, fulfillment, care and concern for others. All values. Please think over. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam. Every day, kindly bring out one or two slokas. We will again touch upon it. Keep it alive,